Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen.
In August 2001, actor James Woods was on a flight from Boston to Los Angeles when he observed some Middle Eastern passengers acting strangely. He told authorities what he saw, and the FBI has apparently corroborated that it may have been a dry run for the 9/11 hijackers.
Wait a minute, you're not James Woods.
Oh, I believe I am.
There it is, 9/11. We made 9/11 happen. High five.
Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen.
What the hell is he doing?
I guess you are James Woods. So now let me understand this. What are you here to promote, James?
Well, Dave, I have a hilarious new movie coming out on HBO next month. It's all about 9/11. No! You know, it's real old-style comedy. You know, it's like 2 pies in the face and 1 in a field in Pennsylvania.
James, I don't want to hear any more about this.
I play a window washer who has just finished washing the last window at a World Trade Center. And then I turn around to get off the scaffold. And what do you think I see coming? A plane.
From New York, pull up a chair and watch the mayhem. It's Late Night with David Letterman.
The application of the treatment is still in its primitive stages of development. He will star with James Garner in My Name is Bill W. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome James Woods right here.
I guess you are James Woods. So now let me understand this. What are you here to promote, James?
I was on a flight, without going into the details of what made me suspicious of these 4 men, although it would have been blatantly obvious to the most casual observer, I took it upon myself to go to the flight attendant and ask to speak to the pilot of the plane. The first officer came out. I reported to him that I felt that the 4 men, and I said, can you look over my shoulder and see who I'm talking about? And he said, yeah. I said, I think they're going to hijack this plane. I mean, everything they're doing, and I explained to him these details, which I've been asked to keep private until whatever jurisdiction, you know, whatever trials may take place.
And you yourself, you have a connection to 9/11 as well, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I was booked on the first flight that hit the tower.
Their behavior was such that I felt they were going to hijack the plane. I also said I'm very much aware of how serious it is to say on an American aircraft in flight the word hijack. So yeah. I'm saying this because I really have reason to believe it's true. When I got home that night, it had been a very turbulent flight. I had said to this woman I'm dating and my girlfriend and my best friend, they said, how was the flight? And I said, well, aside from the terrorists and the turbulence, it was fine.
Drinking the night before, overslept a little bit in conjunction with the fact that my travel agent screwed up the itinerary by about 15 minutes, and so I arrived 10 minutes late to get on the flight.
And my friend Scott said to me, you know, remember that flight you took in August? I said, yeah, I've been thinking about it all day. He said, well, maybe you should call the FBI. And I said, I'm sure they're being inundated, but I thought it over and I called the local office, and within 2 minutes got a hold of a very intelligent young man, a special agent there. 6:45 the next morning, I get a phone call that actually wakes me up, and he said, we want to talk to you about the flight that you took in August. I said, oh, did the manifest match of any of the flights yesterday and my flight? He said, well, we can't tell you that. I said, well, look, I'll get ready and I'll come down to the federal building. He said, we're outside your house. We'll just wait for you.
Wow, 7:15. So this is
6:45 in the morning. I said, and this is the only funny part of any of this, I said, how did you know where I lived? And there was a pause. He said, we're the FBI. We're the FBI. Thank you. So they came in, and I said, look, I'm dying to know, were these the guys? And he said, well, we've had 36,000 tips in one day. and there's 2 of us, and we're going to be at your house all this morning, so you can do the math, but we can't tell you, you know. Since then, I have identified for sure 2 of them as 2 of the terrorists.
Really?
And I've been told unofficially, not by the FBI, but by someone else in actually a higher level of government, believe it or not, just through a coincidence, through a mutual friend, that all 4 of them were terrorists involved.
That is unbelievable.
That they
what
were
an amazing story.
There was.
The first time, I've never heard this. This is the first time you're telling the story. Yeah. These guys out.
As I explained to the FBI, they said, what was your first instinct? And aside from certain things like 4 guys getting on a transcontinental flight without any hand luggage, who, it's funny, I notice behavior because I guess I'm an actor and it's kind of what I do for a living.
You always watch people, right?
There were 4 guys. When the flight attendant, who was a woman, came up to them, they literally ignored her like she didn't exist, which is sort of a kind of Taliban,
weird, yeah.
kind of a Taliban, you know, idea of womanhood as a, you know, not even a human being. I mean, it seems their disrespect for women is so extraordinary. And what did you think these guys were? I said, well, I thought they were either 4 law enforcement officers or 4 terrorists, in that they had that thing that guys who are undercover or on a mission have between each other, and it's impossible to explain.
Well, you were lucky. Well, you're absolutely lucky. That
by the way, one thing I must clear up that,
Sure.
that has been sort of misreported in the press. I did not report to this to the FBI before September 11th.
Right, just the FAA.
And it was only done by, as I understand it, the flight crew, as I've been told later. And, you know, there are people who love to take pot shots. I can't tell you.
Why? I mean, I think you did the right thing.
Well, no, but they'll say, oh, you told the FBI and they didn't do anything. That's completely and utterly
don't worry
wrong.
about those pinheads. No. Some of your interviews, you have been very hawkish against the terrorists. I mean, probably the most outspoken Hollywood guy. And you used the word towel heads one time. Did you take a lot of heat on that?
I mean, it reminds me of those people who lived in Dachau who, you know, were shocked at the end of the war to find out that there was, you know, what that black smoke was coming from those chimneys 100 yards from their house. You know.
They don't want to know the truth. I appreciate you coming in. That is really some story, though, about the people, the hijackers on the plane.
From New York, pull up a chair, watch the mayhem. It's Late Night with David Letterman.
The application of the treatment is still in its primitive stages of development. Our first guest tonight, a very distinct... Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome James Woods. Right here.